Vigilante Wednesday here on the 28th episode of VW Casual, which I was supposed to do both Thursday and Friday and kind of slept off. And I probably will do late Saturday night, but it may be later because of the fight. Not to rhyme, but Fury versus Wilder. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are fighting tonight. And even though this is not a boxing channel by any means, I like to just cover other stuff. We will be still covering some politics and some entertainment before the show's over. But I want to cover something I'm interested in. I did an all-out review a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago now, as far as wrestling. I'm interested in stuff. I'll cover it and talk about it, So shout out to a lot of people who already started off. We got my man Cold Air. Said what up. I said what up back to him. Hail Nancy. I hope you're doing good. I know you've had some issues. Prayers for you and hope you're doing pretty good. Hail, what's up, colonizers? What's up, Cinch and Dildo? Got to get used to the different avatar. Got a buzz. Got a woo. Shout out to Ric Flair. Glad I didn't miss. Yeah, I'm glad you were able to check it out. Or Robert, yeah, we know your secret identity, Code Era. Can't see Fury losing. I'll talk about my prediction. I have I haven't heard the prediction I made based upon this logic, but I'll tell you in a second. Sup Conqueror, sup Wookiee Supremacy. Formerly Wookiee Lives Matter. Now he's just going for supremacy. Which I mean, I guess these by large mansion groups tend to go towards. So I guess it's consistent. So I actually pick Deontay Wilder, which is a wild pick to have after seeing that second fight. And I like both fighters, by the way. This is not a favoritism thing. If anything, Deontay Wilder can be annoying. He has this crazy conspiracy theory about the second fight. We'll get into that. We'll get into all that. Because it all plays into the story of why I'm picking Deontay Wilder. And that's in an upset. Even though I still think there's a good chance Fury's going to win. But I feel like the ultimate, to summarize why I picked Deontay Wilder, is after that second fight, how can Tyson Fury not make the mistake of, I wish I had to drop, sheer fucking hubris? There's no doubt who is the better fighter between the two, right? Tyson Fury is clearly the better fighter between the two. That's not up for debate. And yet, Deontay Wilder has one of the hardest right hands ever, potentially. And I don't even think he's gotten the most out of it because I don't think he's been trained properly. He actually recently changed trainers, and I think that's gonna be a good look too, because I think that's somebody who gets the eccentric Deontay Wilder. They're both eccentric guys. They're both weird, but cool. I like both of them. If you're a boxing fan, I am a bit of a boxing fan. I don't really talk about it on the channel because it's not usually relevant to what we talk about. But yeah, I've been following them for a while. Their first fight was what got me back into boxing. Their very first fight, where it was a draw. At the time, Wilder was the WBC champ. He had like 10 successful, whatever it was, straight defenses. Maybe against some tomato cans. Definitely against some tomato cans, but whatever. It didn't make the Joshua fight. That's a whole nother can of worms. But made the Tyson Fury fight. A guy who had beat Klitschko, took a couple years off because of his mental health issues, gained weight, lost it, fought a couple of schlubs himself, didn't look too good in. And in that fight, Tyson Fury, he said gave him a boxing lesson. I think he did, but he got clipped twice. One almost putting him out, but Tyson Fury kicked out at 2.5, 2.75, or 9, really, because it's a 9 count in boxing. But he kicked out. He got up, continued it. They named it a draw. Yeah, there's power. That's what it is. I don't see how you can dodge that a whole nother fight. And let's get to the second fight. Second fight happens. Tyson Fury, even though he's big as shit, they're both big as shit. They're like 6'7". Wilder weighed in as heavy as he's 238. 6'7", 238. Tyson Fury is like 6'9", 270, 277. He had clothes on, though, so he's probably about 270. Huge motherfuckers. They're huge. And Wilder at his biggest. I mean, he was 230 the second fight, which we'll get into in a second. But before then, he usually boxed at 215, 220. He didn't box that big, but I mean, he kind of had to because Fury bulked up. He got, from about 250-ish to 270. I don't know how these weight classes with heavyweight work. I mean, it just seems like you can be as big as you fucking want. As long as you're over 200 or whatever the weight cutoff is, you can just be big as shit. You can be butterbean out there. It seems like, Jesus, these motherfuckers are huge. But in any event, Tyson came in at 270. He walked him down the second fight. He dominated the second fight. He showed that he couldn't just be this slick boxer, which is what he's known for despite his size, which is what I was trying to get into. He could be more of a power boxer, more of somebody who could put somebody away, and he did. He stopped Wilder. There was a controversy about the towel. I thought the ref was going to stop it before the towel came in. I thought the ref should have stopped it a couple rounds ago. I didn't see it live, and I actually wanted to see that fight, but I did see that it happened. Usyk destroying Anthony Joshua, which makes the heavyweight division interesting. Even though Joshua, man, I really think Joshua is still recovering from that chubby Mexican Andy Ruiz. Well, I hope Andy Ruiz gets his shit together because I think I'm joking about chubby Mexicans. I'm a chubby motherfucker. He's in way better shape than me. So, I love Andy Ruiz, man. I really hope he gets his shit back together. I think success defeated him. But I also think that defeat is still hanging in Anthony Joshua because he fights too timid now. He doesn't have that same aggression. He's scared of getting clipped. He's very much scared of getting clipped. And Usyk took advantage of that. And he just broke him down. He broke him down. He's starring Cold Era. Yeah, he rose from the dead. That was an Undertaker moment. I've seen Undertaker memes of him getting up in that 12th round after Wilder. Wilder was celebrating because he thought that was it. He was celebrating. I thought that was it. Anybody who watched that fight live, oh, that's that. And he gets the fuck up. Crazy. It was crazy. That made the fight crazy. When he gets up, it's like, what the fuck? This is wild. And he continued the round, and he actually still did pretty solid in that round, man. So, like, yeah, I think because of that, and because, like I said, both have eccentricness to them, there's no way Fury doesn't have some overconfidence. And I don't know how you can be overconfident, even if you're right to be. He is the better fighter. But, like, one, Wilder bulked up two, because he didn't want to just get dominated. So he bulked up for himself too. He's 240. He'll probably be 240 in the ring. So, there's still a 30-pound difference, but the weight gap has been closed a little bit. And he knows that he might just come through like a freight train. Talking about the Wookiee Lives Matter name change. So more people are cool with Wookiee supremacy than the BLM reference. He says, I was Wookiee Lives Matters, but blew it off. So I had to get racist about it. But the other way around. Everyone blew it up, so I had to get racist about it. I see. Well, Wookiee Lives Matter, Wookiee supremacists adapting with the times. We see how Wookiee. Well, I mean, that's why they say let the Wookiee win. But back to the Fury and Wilder thing. I think Fury, all he has to do is get hit once by that right hand. Or twice, and maybe he gets off the canvas multiple times. I think this is also going to be the best fight of the three. I think this is going to be the most competitive. I think Wilder's plan is if he tries to rush me, I'm just going to trade. Even though Wilder has no footwork. Wilder almost has I'm not saying no skills. It's just ridiculous. That's an over-exaggeration. But relative to the average boxer, he's a lot less skilled. A lot of it comes from his right hand, but he's gotten better at knowing what to do with his right hand, how to set it up. If you saw the Victor Ortiz fight, the second one, because he fought him twice, and I know people joke about Victor Ortiz being like 70. But Victor Ortiz, he fought him the second time. It was in between the two Fury fights. And even though he was probably losing rounds, he felt in control. Like he cared nothing about rounds. He knows he can hit someone harder than most people have ever, harder than Tyson even harder than almost anyone I've ever seen. And so therefore he just sets up for the knockout, and that's what he did. He didn't care about rounds. He played, played because you don't play boxing, but he basically cared more about protecting himself and getting his right hand and landing it. And once he landed it, he knew as soon as he threw it that the fight was over. He just walked back in his corner, and that was it. And I think if he fights similar, where he can just he has to be much more conscious of protecting himself, and maybe the weight will hurt him in that regard as far as movement. I think he's hoping it helps him as far as punch resistance. That's my thought. But if what I mean, Fury's the favorite for a reason. Fury destroyed him that second fight. He was an absolute demolishment. And oops, I didn't mean to get. I'll go to Essential Ditto. Fury decided to go after Wilder in the second fight because Wilder can't fight on his back foot. Yeah, I agree. He really can't fight on his front foot. He could just throw that punch on his front foot. You know you're doing it wrong if nobody gets pissed off, says Low Spec Linux Laptop in hell. Love Street Beefs. Shout out to Street Beefs. Professional fighting gets boring after a while. Check out Street Beefs on YouTube. Street Beefs, right? Yeah, I guess. You know what? I haven't really checked out the Street Beefs or the street fights. I used to back in the day. World Star, all that shit. You know what I mean? Because that was kind of how World Star was built, was those fights. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on Fury and Wilder. I think it'll be a good fight. I think the super prelims, like where they have the super no name fighting, are happening now on YouTube. I don't know everyone's interested in boxing. It's not everyone's bag. I still kind of, I want to talk about because it's one of those things. Now, I'm not talking about all the Illuminati symbolism with Wilder's suit, or rather, not boxing's fixed, or all the other stuff. Oh no, this is organized, just not professional. Yeah, I see. And as a result, the fights probably get done quicker. People just probably get put to sleep because you don't know how to protect yourself as a fighter. That is a resurgence of good boxing fights. MMA is so much better to watch. I like both. I'm a fan of both. And so it's not a drunk fight. So these are probably still so. Hey, the bare knuckle fighting. I know a lot of these different fighting leagues are getting going. A lot of people are just into fighting. You know what I mean? There's a resurgence of good boxing fights. I like boxing and MMA. I think there's a resurgence of fight in the culture. Maybe this is just like the Fight Club in man. It's like, okay, we need to do fights. We need to fight each other, especially now in 2020. It's probably even worse. But just the way society is, we need to find a ways to fight. So whether it's street beefs, whether it's a bare knuckle league, whether it's nothing MMA leagues, nothing boxing leagues, all across the world they've started to pop up. Amateur, you know what I mean? Yeah, female bare knuckle fights. I was watching some shit on fucking, what was it, Hulu or some shit. And it was like some women's MMA, and it just looked like, they were in like a bar looking thing, man. It looked like basically just they could have set that ring up at any bar and just got two drunk bitches to beat the shit out of each other. And that's what it looked like. That's just what the setting. They were professional. They weren't that professional. But yeah, they were beating the hell out of each other. They're tough chicks, definitely. Should make soy boys fight for a pre-show. No, they have real fighters fight for a pre-show. That would be funny though. Have some like real soy motherfuckers fight. That would be awesome. Maybe the next Logan Paul fight. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I should challenge Logan Paul. So long as I don't have to do any crazy stuff, like some behind the scenes, Illuminati shit. Long as it's above board, I'll fight Logan Paul. I'll make weight as fat as I am. Give me a date. I'll make weight to fight Logan Paul for that check. And I've never fought. He's fought like multiple. Or what's the other one? Jake Paul. Whichever Paul brother, whichever one you want me to fight. I'll fight both of them. Shit. For a check. And like I said, make whatever weight they want me to make. He did it with CM Punk. Man, CM Punk's coming back to wrestling. They knocked his ass back to wrestling. It took some years. I like CM Punk. He's cool. I mean, he talks a lot of shit, and he thought. I mean, a lot of that CM Punk. You got to blame Dana White for that. Ooh, so knock into my mic. That's what she said. Especially nowadays. No, but like Dana White should have never allowed that to happen. And he did because he wanted the spectacle. He wanted the wrestling nerds to add to the PPV buys. And they probably did. That's why he did it twice. We knew what that was. That was almost a proto version of what Logan Paul was doing when you think about it. But Dana didn't want to like throw down his credibility. But like, why would you get a guy who never, it's not like this guy was like Brock, who was like this amateur wrestler, or like a Kurt Angle who was an amateur wrestler. This was a guy who had never had any organized athletics ever. He had only been a professional wrestler, came up as a indie professional wrestler. You know what I mean? I love it. I love him, but it's like he's not a guy that wrestled or fought. He apparently even lost wrestling, like fights backstage, apparently. So he's not a guy, you know what I mean? That you would even think. Yeah, I'm sure he's been training, I can go train in some kickboxing and some jiu-jitsu, but I'm not a UFC fighter. You know what I mean? And you just get some rando in his 30s and say, hey, go be a fighter. That's Dana White. You got to blame Dana White. Because like I said, I would make weight to fight anyone right now in UFC or boxing or, like I said, Logan Paul, anyone for a check. You're going to give me millions of dollars. So people have to stop me from doing that. And there's a reason I can't just do that. And Dana White was supposed to be the reason, like, nah, man, you can't just do this. So that was on him. Street Beast had a fight with a dude who called herself Gash. Just couldn't hit hard enough. So funny. Him/herself, you weren't sure. VigilanteWilliamson says Bryce Day. Hell, Bryce Day. CM Puke is a crybaby and UFC loser who hates his fans. Well, he loves them now. He talked a lot of shit. That's weird about his current gimmick. If you watch AEW, which I barely do, because they did strike the channel, but they took it off when they start signing people. It's weird how that happens. But yeah, he really did go at his fans. He did a lot of grimy stuff, but then he comes back and everyone loves him. They just forgot what happened. Yeah, Brock Lesnar and Batista didn't expose the business by getting their asses kicked the entire UFC career. Did Batista fight in MMA? Maybe he did fight. I don't know if it would have been UFC. It probably been Bellator or something like that. Maybe he did. Brock obviously was a UFC champ. And fuck, if he goes into UFC first, he probably is one of the most dominant UFC fighters of all time. And he went in when he did and been trained the entire time. I mean, he was a natural explosive athlete. He's a literal Minnesota Viking, even though I think he's from like Dakota. So one of the Dakotas. Oh, he did fight one fight. And he won it. Well, that's what you got to do. Shout out to Batista, who's had a pretty good acting career. Fucking wrestling. Maybe Matt should have been a wrestler. Maybe he should have been a wrestler instead of he would have been a better actor if he was a wrestler, man. They launch a lot of guys into acting nowadays. It used to just be The Rock, but now you got Batista, Cena, even Roman Reigns has done a movie. Even some of the D-League guys do D-League movies. Fucking Johnny Morrison did a movie. Like you can get a movie if you're a good enough, if you're an adequate wrestler to wear enough character. So that's what Matt should have did. He should have went to wrestling school. People say he should have went to Romania. Booker T beat Batista up in a fight. Oh shit! Yeah, back in the day, there were a lot of real badasses. You're talking about CM Punk. I'll read the comment. Booker T beat up Batista in the fight, so Booker could fight. There's a lot of legit badasses in wrestling. Past tense, there's still a couple. I actually saw. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I don't want to knock myself. Not Punk though. He's like the nerdy cosplay version who decides to be a wrestler. Bro, you think it's just him? I would say 60% of wrestling is now that. 70%. Even in WWE, even especially AEW, it's even higher there. And there's some real badasses, don't get me wrong. There's some real guys who can fuck you up. but a lot of them became that cosplay because all those guys, a generation when Booker T got into wrestling, there was no MMA. When Batista got into wrestling, MMA had just started. You know what I mean? And he ended up going into it anyway. But like it wasn't what it is now. It wasn't no development path to being an MMA fighter. So that generation of like, even a guy like Undertaker, those guys who could really fight from back in the day. Like I said, I mentioned Kurt Angle, even older guys, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. They didn't have MMA to go into instead of wrestling. They just went into wrestling. Legion of Doom, they just went in, or the Road Warriors, they just went into wrestling. They didn't have anywhere else to go. Now those guys are MMA fighters. You know what I mean? Maybe in a different generation, Conor McGregor would be the Intercontinental Champion, but instead he has MMA to go to. So you never know. And yeah, I'd watch Matt as a heel. He would make a great heel. He'd make a great wrestling heel. Oh, Wookiee Supremacy. You're the man. I was like, how the fuck am I going to see this fight? Oh, you talking about the fight? I need if anyone has a link to the fight I'm talking about, you're probably talking about not a bum fight. I'm sorry. Fight? The hell is it called? I'm scrolling up. Street Beast. So it's Street Beast. If anyone has a link to the fight I'm talking about, please let me know. I forgot about that. He's probably always talking about Street Beef. I used to love Punter. I realized he never meant what he said in the shoot promo. He just wanted to be the main event. WrestleMania, I think he meant what he said. Because he went into AEW to help a lot of those kids. To help a lot of younger wrestlers and help wrestling be better. If they had UFC in the 80s and 90s, Undertaker would have been fun to watch. 6'10" beating up other dude. 6'10" dude beating up other dudes. His reach would have been freakish. What the heck? What's Stefan Struve? He's 6'9". Even John Jones like 6'5", 6'6", isn't he? Or maybe I'm overrating him. There's been some tall UFC guys. Yeah, that would have been freakish. He's like 6'10". Remember Bigfoot Silva? Or is it Giant Silva? Oh, I'm getting the Silvers. There's a bunch of Silvers in UFC. There's one of those Silvers like 6'8". Some big motherfuckers. He's sitting though. Hey, Wook, guys, see, yeah, anyone got a link to that? Oh, you talking about Tyson Fury or the Tyson fight? I was watching some Tyson fights. Jones is 6'6". Yeah, he's long. You know, this fight is comedy. I'll check it out. I got excited for nothing. I was like, oh my God. If somebody has a link, I shouldn't say that on the tube because that thought, Susan, and we'll get into evil thoughts later. If anyone has a link to the fight I've been talking about, which I can probably get back into, just more people are showing up. But yeah, man, to go all the way back around, hell, fucking Tyson Fury is 6'9". Tyson Fury is 6'9". Deontay Wilder is 6'7". These guys are massive. Yeah, they did. A friend of mine on YouTube gets away showing stuff. Okay, cool. Man, Jones, man, another guy Dana White enabled. Bro, some of the stuff he's been able to get away with. I hate when people say he's the best fighter ever. No, he's on steroids. And I know it's professional fights. Hell, with this Fury Wilder fight, maybe both of them are on gear. Maybe most athletes are on gear. But fuck, you keep getting caught. It's just like I'm just supposed to accept it. And maybe they just want that bag to finally, that shoe to finally drop on how many athletes are on steroids. Maybe they should open that up instead of all these question marks. But that pissed me off. Didn't he get into an accident with a pregnant woman? He's always doing something crazy. But he get away with it. What's going to happen when he's not in the UFC anymore and he can't get away with it? And maybe, my man Wake Down's not here. Maybe he's just an MK Ultra breakdown. I'm not, who knows? Who knows? It's like an Illuminati reference every show now. I guess that's what happens when authoritarians start destroying everything. It's like, huh? I think, yeah. I'm kind of with this position. Let everyone roll it up. It's my position. I mean, they already kind of have. It's like there's been whispers about Tyson Fury. Like I said, Deontay Wilder gained a lot of weight. It's not totally unnatural given the time frame, and he was never a weightlifter guy. He was always skinny, but still, he gained a lot of weight. A lot of boxers, Canelo, Manny, Pacquiao, Spence. Shit. NBA's filled with guys like Bron, Chris Paul. Rumors about you can, as far as different substances, about a lot of other guys. I mean, baseball, we know what that is and was. You would be better off to be open about it, but at first I thought it was out of like honor and shit. But like the sports leagues don't care about that anymore. That's not a big deal. So my thought, I almost think they don't want the normies to roid up, which they already are anyway for Instascam. At least they were. Not sure what they're doing. But they don't want normies to start roiding up. They don't want you on gear, bro. Not saying you should get on it. There's risk to it. Just look at the Ultimate Warrior. Shit, just look at Triple H. He was just in the hospital a couple weeks ago. Look, I want the fighters to be on gear. I'm just saying steroids and PEDs. Makes the fights look so much cooler. Remember Kimbo Slice? That's what I'm talking about. I think a lot of them are already. Yes. Left them a message may come through. That would be dope. Big booty daddies. Remember the big bad booty daddy, a.k.a. Scott Steiner. Shout out to Math. Brian on the juice. That's why all these twitchy muscles get injured all the time. That and he's old. Now we need a Fabian Society reference in every show. Man, all these different societies, all these evil motherfuckers that have fucked everything up and are going to continue. But yeah, a lot of guys. Not just that, man. A lot of skinny guys in the NBA. They haven't been questioned in public, but back when I wasn't, the notorious VIG and a little slimmer, I looked into gear. I never got into it. I almost did. I really almost did. I just didn't. It was expensive as shit. I was broke then. I was still trying to figure a way, but I didn't. But I looked into it. I researched the shit out of this shit. I'm being honest with you guys, man. Researched the shit out of this shit. All the different substances. And when you talk about, like, I'm sure, guys are skilled, but do you think that randomly everybody in the league just start being able to pull up from 40 foot in, late game situation, all the fatigue? A lot of these guys on HGH and EPA to have that type of endurance and strength to do some of the things they're doing. It's now average for guys to just take incredibly long jump shots at any time of game, at any time of season. If you think Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and James Harden, all these guys just naturally off of just hard work are able to just shoot 30-foot bombs after a whole NBA season into the playoffs, man, I got a bridge in Brooklyn for you. And I'm not accusing those guys directly, but I'm saying that's not easy. In the hospital. Oh, did he take the jab? I didn't know that. He did get blown up in a 2013 match between Kurt Hennig's kid and Kurt Axel. That's about it. Not much about health, but he was a guy that used a lot of steroids back in the day, and that tends to impact your heart. Now, if he got the jab, that's not going to make things better, and that, allegedly. But I hadn't heard health issues, but guys who spent 20, 30 years doing steroids have heart issues in their 50s and 60s. That's kind of a common thing. Oh, Lord. Word is you say Viggy Smalls in the mirror 3 times, a VW stream appears. That's pretty weird. And Gregory is saying, let's go Fury. Like I said, I got the shocking upset pick because I feel like even though Fury is clearly the better fighter, and I'd be happy with a Fury win. Honestly, if you talk about what I want, I'd rather Fury win. I'd rather Fury because I just want to see it. Undisputed heavyweight champion. He's the only one who could. Well, Usyk could do it. I guess. But I rather because I've been following the Fury journey. I'd rather Fury beat Wilder. He'll have a mandatory with Dillian White or Otto Wallin again. He beat both of them, I believe, already. But he'll have a mandatory fight with the winner between that fight that comes up in a few weeks. And then fight whoever between Usyk and Joshua has the belt because they have a rematch coming, and be the undisputed. I'd rather Fury do it so I can see an undisputed champion in my lifetime. Um, Tyson was, but I was a kid. I think Tyson was the last undisputed champion. Um, so I want to see that. Um, and I could be wrong. It could be someone else in between. And I'm like, I think anyone else who would have had a loss at the time. So that I'd rather see Fury. I guess Usyk could technically do it as well, but I'd rather see Fury do that. I just feel like it's hard to dodge that right hand another 12 rounds. And maybe he'll stop him beforehand and he doesn't have to. But even then, his strategy to stop him still is like, man, I don't know if you can keep walking that guy down. I know he can't fight on his back foot, but his right hand is so dynamic. Don't watch baseball. Everyone claims it was much better when everyone was juicing up. It so much was, man. It was a much better sport. And Viggy juice, that's creepy. You don't want no Viggy juice on anyone. But back to the baseball. Listen, the late 90s, early 2000s era of baseball was the best era of baseball. People were hitting home runs, and people hit home runs now, but it's all analytics, all these goofy looking guys. People had personalities. Ironically, there was more balance to the game. There were still guys like Ichiro who were more contact hitters and stealing bases. You had home run hitters. You had great defensive players in the infield and the outfield, great pitchers, different type of pitchers. Some could just, you still had, speaking of steroids, Roger Clemens. Then you had Tom Glavine's, more thinkers who could do all this other stuff to get outs. It was cool to watch. You have variance in the game. That's what all these sports lack now. They lack variance in what happens. They've become so like analytically driven, so they all try to do the same thing, and then it makes it everybody just shoots threes in the NBA, and instead of different teams playing different styles, everyone just plays the same style. And the same thing happened to baseball, especially when you take out the steroids, which there's probably a lot of HGH. But listen, I'm not trying to fuck up people's careers and kidneys and livers and shit. You know what I mean? That's not my. I don't want that. I don't want Viggy juice. Viggy doesn't juice. But should we be supportive of the WNBA? Come on, guys. What about the women's? They're the most affected by this. The women got to be interested. The women got to be interested. I don't watch the WNBA, and I probably never will. But if they had an interesting product, people will watch. People care about women's MMA at times, not always, but at times. There's more people who care about women's MMA than WNBA. So why is that? You got to figure it out. You got to make something interesting. There are girls who can dribble and shoot. Highlight them. You're not going to get someone dunking, but you can get someone who cross someone over. Vigilante Keaton as Vigi Juice. Why can't I be Fat Man? Oh, man. Well, that was just dismissive and completely offensive, VW. You talking about my WNBA? No one does. Yeah, no one cares about the WNBA. As a Giants fans, loving baseball right now. That's cool. Shout out to the Giants. Tigers are doing try, and I'm not sure what's going on. You hear vacuum signs. Got sub to Glenzer. Oh, yeah, you were the one saying that. So what's up, Glenzer? Valentina Shevchenko. I screw up the name. Yeah, people care more about women MMA. Beat LA. Hell, Newbound Turk. Sup Turk. More people have joined. I could probably reset my take. I talked about Wilder and Fury. Yeah, I said Wilder and Fury. I actually think Wilder will win because of how dominant Fury was in the second fight. I think that's going to lead. That's going to lead to Wilder being more prepared. He gained more weight for it. He's still going to get dominated every round, but I think he'll clip him. But as I said, I actually rather be wrong, even though I like both fighters. Both fighters are actually baby faces. Sometimes play heel. Fucking Deontay Wilder. He was like 19, and his daughter is born with spinal issues, and he's never fought before. And he gets into boxing at like 19, 20, which is incredibly old to start boxing. Most fighters start at like 12 and younger, so usually like 8 to 10, really. And he starts at 20, and he's never been really refined. but he has like a God given gift of a right hand, and he becomes a heavyweight champion. And he talks a lot of shit. He's insane. His fan base is crazy, but he is a good fighter. And he's a good dude. He has his family. You know what I mean? He's able to take care of his family. And I don't know what the hell else a guy who's 19 and 20 from Tuscaloosa, Alabama was supposed to do when he has a kid with spinal issues. And that's what he was able to do. He was trying to, I think he was a wide receiver for a community college or JUCO college, hoping to get on with University of Alabama, which would probably been fucking impossible, even back then. And becomes the heavyweight champion. Fucking Tyson Fury from a family of fighters. I think he has little brothers and shit from fighting. One of them, I think, is supposed to fight one of the Paul brothers. His dad fought before, and he becomes a heavyweight champion. Has 3-4 years off because of depression and mental health issues. Has a breakdown. Comes back to come all the way back to become the champion again. These are cool stories, so I like them both. I'm not picking Deontay Wilder out of some because he's a BLM guy. Not really a fan of that. There's a lot of stuff I'm not a fan of really with both, but I just feel like it's very hard to keep dodging that right hand an entire fight. And maybe he stops him early again. And yeah, I like women MMA or woman MMA, sorry. Got some great fighters in it. There are some great fighters. Yeah, go Giants. Says Glenzer. Shout out to the Giants. Again, what's going to be interesting is trans women and real women don't be a bigot Wookiee supremacy in combat sports. That's going to be a problem. It's going to get messy, and it's going to really ruin a lot of momentum that women's MMA already had. It's not right, but what are you going to do? Yeah, the ex-special forces will make them the UFC champ now. If you're born with it's an eggplant. I mean, I don't know how many people are born with eggplants. Not get it. It's an emoji. You're born with a penis. You cannot fight women no matter how much they try to hide it. Yes, you can. Don't be a bigot, Sentinel. It's already happened. They choked a woman out. Yep. How much is PPV boxing? That's the problem, bro. It's like $80. I gotta pay $80. These bitches used to be 30 or 40 in the 90s. I know inflation, but that don't math right. It ain't. Let's get an inflation calculator. We're going to get an inflation calculator and check this shit out. Let me see. I'm going to see how much Tyson Holyfield costs. And go to inflation and see what's happened. Is it blame Mayweather Pacquiao? Jeez, it was 50 to 60 back then. So okay. Let's get down to business. Okay, share screen. System audio, even though we'll actually share some other stories. So this is a good old New York Times. You know how accurate they are. This is an article that's been from the 95 or 96. That's from 96. Yeah, between $50 or $60 was Tyson Holyfield. So let's go to an inflation calculator and see if we're getting ripped off. Even though that was obviously a bigger fight. So go 1996 is the what the hell? Illuminati bot. Oh sheesh. What is going on? I'm typing backwards, and this shit happened at work too. I think it's like a shift, something like that. There we go. Okay, so $50. Oh, let's go to high, $60. Maybe that is it. Jesus, actually, we're getting a discount. Fuck, inflation sucks. So for the $60 price, should be $1.04. What should the $50 price be? 87. So for $80, we're actually getting a discount of what we got in the 90s. Holy shit. Doesn't that make you feel good about inflation? Holy smokes. Undertaker Tyson Fury told Wilder to make Wilder rest in peace. That's awesome. Undertaker's a big boxing guy. Yeah, it's happening. Wait until it's common and the numbers start piling up. It'll just be trans women fighting eventually. There'll be no women fighting. Or they'll have to reform women's MMA and be exclusive. And that'll probably be issues. They're not the first. Yep, I remember Fallon Fox. And it's going to get worse. The Fallon Fox cut spits on the floor. Yeah. Numbers don't lie. They spell disaster for you at sacrifice. $80 damn. I'm watching the Giants anyway. Yeah. Tyson fights $50 for a whopping 30-second fight. That's what made them fun, though. They should have made that fight when Manny was in his prime. They should have. That was boxing has learned so many of the wrong lessons from Mayweather Pacquiao. They should have fought way more than one time. If they would have made that fight in 2010 and then again in 2012 and then again in 2015, it would have been different. But they didn't. And I would have liked to see what would have happened then. But remember, Mayweather was older than Manny that whole time. So as much as people say that, and that's a good argument to say, Mayweather was older, and they both made a lot of money doing this the way they did because every fight they were in that wasn't with each other still made money, and it built up that anticipation. And so now that's how everyone wants to market their fights, and I think it's the wrong way to do it. $50 for Punch Out NES, that was definitely worth it. You'd be lucky to pay that now. You ever hear Tyson talk about the Holyfield thing? At least he's honest about it. Well, he just got angry and just bit him. This is the fight one was the ear. I thought the second fight was the ear. Just trans women. What about trans men? That ain't happening. Ain't no trans men getting into the ring with no guy. They're gonna get their head. That's the same thing. You're like the Abby Smash. You were a woman. Now you're a man and you're gonna fight a man. That would be hilarious. He's a deeper guy than people give him credit. No, he's a brilliant dude. Like he's a really thoughtful guy. He actually was back then. A lot of people didn't think because he was in such a ferocious mindset. But like he was a real boxing historian. He loves boxing. He loves the sport. He was a real like philosopher anyway. Like he would read all that like older like Greek mythology and shit and read Machiavelli and read all this other shit. You know what I mean? Because when he was, shout out to Customato. He really saved that kid's life, man. He was a wild motherfucker, man, as a kid. And Customato just took him from that life, kind of helped him, almost cultured a feral beast type person. But he was a really brilliant guy. He learned a lot. And a lot of that didn't come out until after he lost everything and lost a lot of his, which he was probably happier to have lost. If you ever see him, the interview was like, these belts are trash because he thinks about what he threw away to get those belts. And yeah, the Mike Tyson Mysteries was incredibly underrated. I brought that up when, I don't know if you guys remember, Mindy Kaling is doing her own adult version of Scooby-Doo called Velma. She voices Velma. It sounds like a goddamn disaster. And there's no Scooby-Doo, which is like, why don't you create your own show? But I brought up the Mike Tyson Mysteries. Like, if you want to see an adult version of Scooby-Doo, we have the Mike Tyson Mysteries. And it was really good. Yeah. Really rock. And we can't get any more because Norm was pigeon. UFC does it much better. Zhang already got a rematch against Doug Rose. Boxing is learning from them. Yeah, boxing is relearning what it already knew. Relearning what it already knew. Oh, we should do rematches because trying to that's brutal. But trying to constantly build that hype for that one fight. We lost out on Joshua Wilder because of that. We lost out on that fight. They both could have been undefeated. I talk about one undefeated unified champ. We would have got that fight in 2017. We could have had one undefeated unified champ, and we missed out on that. And RIP Norm. And held Decepticon King. I actually I hope it comes out right. I got to edit it. Just recorded a video because I got my gigawatts in. I actually got two. I got one that I'm keeping in package and one I've already opened for the video, and it probably looks shitty, but I got to edit and see. And so yeah, I'm happy with the gigawatt I just got, and like I said, stereo of them. And yeah, Cinch Dildo, that's brutal. I would do a feature with Tom McDonald. Oh, not Tom McDonald. Yeah, is that the right one? Yeah, Tom McDonald. I know him. You make fun of Tom. Tom McDonald's fine. I would do a feature with him if ever the opportunity came up. Heard De La Hoya was going to fight before his jab ass landed in the hospital with the coof. I've heard, there was a clip. If I can find it, I'll play for you guys. It'll probably get me kicked off YouTube. But hey, I don't think the original creators kicked out YouTube about correlation between that sort of thing. Let me see if I can find it. Like, how come? Seems like certain variants only came out when certain treatment options that have been mandated start to become normal. It's weird how that worked. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get myself in any more trouble. But just an interesting timing. We'll just put it like that. Wonder if, correlation doesn't cause causation. Correlation doesn't cause causation, but just something to think about. Need the Ghostbusters. I want the Ghostbusters, and I want the X-Men. I'm gonna try to get those. I might end up getting every collab they do if I can. And I saw the TMNT versus Cobra Kai. I still haven't seen the Cobra Kai because I'm an idiot. And got the jab on the slab. Row. Got Violator, dope. And Gunslinger Spawn. Who was it? That had a version of Gunslinger Spawn. Not just you. I feel like, God, we just did a stream a few weeks ago together. It was one of his first streams. Might even be in the chat. Oh my God. What is his name? I'm sorry, but he had a Gunslinger Spawn too, and I forgot it. Play my head, not my heart. I'm so sorry, brother. Yeah, held it a weight down. Shout to weight down. Shout out to the weight down. All right, let's reset it one good time. I did a little analysis earlier in the stream, but since people showed up, Wilder versus Fury is tonight. Even though Fury's been dominant so far, I think Wilder's going to win. I think Wilder now. Each fight, each fight, the other made an adjustment, and the other one stayed pat. That's my thought. I feel like Wilder after the first fight felt like, hey, I did what I know I could do. I sparked him. He just got up. He won't get up next time. I don't have to change anything. And he didn't change anything. And he got ransacked. And so since then, he said, hey, I'll bulk up. I'll get a new trainer. That new trainer is, I think, the Wilder Whisperer. He lets him think that he's running the show. Wilder said, I didn't learn anything new. He just brought out what was already there. I think that's a little reverse psychology to keep Wilder thinking, because Wilder has so much to learn about boxing. It's not funny. And could have trained with Floyd Mayweather, but didn't, which is his own sheer fucking hubris, which is why most people have Fury. Fury's clearly the better fighter. I think his head is on a little straighter, even though he can be as much as a Fruit Loop as Wilder, if not more so. But like, there's a good case to be made for Fury. This is not me just thinking I think Wilder will be dominating, even though he'll look better than he has so far in the fights in the rounds with Fury. I think this will probably be the best fight of the three. But I think he's going to get dominated, but he's going to get that punch off. And once it lands, that's it. Now maybe he just goes 12 rounds, gets dominated by Fury, loses by decision. That's probably the more likely outcome. But I just got that feeling, and I'm not the only one who has that feeling, that the Wilder's going to be on it, and he's going to land that right hand, and that's going to be it. So those are my thoughts. Cinch and Dildo has a 65-35 Fury. That's probably more legit. And it's not UFC, it's actually boxing. But I get it shows you to watch either. You're talking a little bit about the fighting, and then Street Beast and all the whole gamut of the fight game. So those are my thoughts on Wilder and Fury. And I actually even had a story up, but there's no need to talk about that. So let's get into some of the other stuff that's going on in this crazy ass world. We'll do some the memes of the day, a positive story, and then get out of here. And if anyone has a link to the fight or cares about the fight, which I don't know that anyone does, let me know. Used to back in the day. I know my man Wookie obviously is looking into that. Just something like Fury's head is way more fucked outside of boxing. Probably. Probably. Yeah, he's had his issues. He's had his issues. So, and hail Zax. Zax, you're just in time for the Yahtzeefication of the world. So Disney is rolling out a new Koof sticker system to distinguish between the jabbed and unjabbed. Does this sound familiar to anyone when people have to wear something to indicate what they are? If it, and it's ironic because um, if you know your history about old Walt, he felt similarly about a specific group as a specific dictator. And isn't it crazy after talking this code? Fucking Walt Disney was reportedly anti-Semitic. So it's ironic that his company years later are using something that happened in Nazi Germany. I'm just gonna fucking say it. Sometimes I get so coded up. I'm like, no, fuck you, Susan. This is goddamn ridiculous. There's free speech in this country. All right, but yeah, that's the irony of this story. Shout out to Bounding, and we'll actually talk about Bounding in a positive light because I sometimes I give them credit where I love them, and basically all I do is talk about the stuff they report. Anyways, they're rolling out a new COVID-19 sticker system to distinguish between the jabbed and unjabbed. Walt Disney will reportedly be rolling out a sticker system, and I trust all of Hollywood to follow on the sets of its production later this month, in an attempt to make it easier to identify those employees who have been jabbed against the coof, which they actually have not, as we see reportedly. But that's how you say it, who have been reportedly jabbed against the coof. We'll go with that. As reported by the entertainment media outlet, The Hollywood Reporter, Disney will begin rolling out a sticker system on all its new productions in mid-October that requires visible proof of coof status as stipulated in a return to work agreement between the AMTP and Hollywood's unions. So, okay, let's go full circle on this. During the Cultural Crime Fires on Wednesday, we covered the IATSE strike. And I didn't make this connection. My partner in Culture Crime Fighting did, and he also did a video on it. He said, I wonder if this strike has anything to do with coof status. And so, like I said, Matt made a video on it. And in the comments of the video, and I even asked Matt, hey, should we reach out to the person? Somebody reportedly from the union said, no, that has nothing to do with why we're making this strike. It has 100%, we're 1,000% in favor of these mandates. But it's interesting that this is a part, of Disney. So I'm just pointing out these interesting facts. You're all adults. You do with them as you want. But my interpretation is that maybe these strikes that Matt was on to something, and maybe there's an element of these strikes that has something to do with this. If Disney is doing this as stipulated in a return to work agreement, meaning this is a part. Now, if it goes through, then maybe I was wrong. But this is a part of the return to work agreement per Disney. And this is just reporting. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. I know I'm reading Bounding, but this report comes from the Hollywood Reporter. They're pretty in there. You know what I mean? I think they're Warner, but they know enough about both in all these Hollywood sets and what's going on. So according to them, Disney thinks that sticker mandate will be stipulated in a return to work agreement between the unions, and we know they're having a dispute. So if this sticker mandate goes through, then we know, hey, then the lady in the comment was right, because they clearly have no issue with being stickered up to return to work. If it doesn't happen, we know it did have something to do with their return to work. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that. We'll just let that play. And I'm not trying to put any shade over the lady in the comments. Do not go in that video and attack that lady. She's just speaking her point of view, and her point of view is valid as anyone else's. The media outlet further specifies this new measure will only be applied to employees working in Zone A, which consists of actors and anyone who comes in proximity with them. Well, I mean, if the jab actually worked as you thought it should, I would understand that, knowing what we know now, because we actually trust the actual science, not just what some group of authoritarians tell us as a science. we know that that doesn't actually do that. While those who have made the decisions to pass on the jab, either due to health issues or religious beliefs, will be reportedly not required to engage in this new sticker system. Okay. Okay. Interesting fact, cis Williamson was exempt for religious beliefs because we do believe in the Most High, and we do believe in the Bible. And what our names aren't actually Williamson, but in our household, that's where we're raised. And so she was able to get exempt, but not everyone in her healthcare system was. So that sucks. A high number was. Don't want to say the case has been reported and link it up. In August of this year, the Service Trades Council Union, Walt Disney World's largest union of employees, agreed to adopt COOF mandate that would require all members of the House of Mouse theme park show proof of jab. Ugh. Yeah, somebody said, since you did those FEMA camps, here we come. They're already here. Well, at least they're the mates, our mates in Australia, and Hell One Rough Girl. Glenzer, maybe that might be the next sentence I read, bro. So unjabbed Disney employees get sent to their relocation camps. Next thing you know, they'll have a focus camp to re-educate the unjabbed. They're already having us wear flair. My granddad was not the German side. Fuck this. Yeah, this is evil. They're doing all this shit. Yeah. And this is going to be standard, by the way. It's just happening in Disney to normalize them. More companies are going to do this, including the companies maybe you and me work for. Disney is the mafia. They're way worse. Mousefia. Hoo-hoo, break his fucking thumbs. Hoo-hoo. What a fucking money. Cheese Yahtzees. Rat bastards. I like that. They are rat bastards. They're demons. Sending the Vaxilorian a check on his employees, basically. Wear this armband and line up for your tattoo, bigot. There you go. Eugenicists doing what eugenicists do. Wait, you can get religious exempt? Do you ask your doctor for one? I don't know what it goes. I think you have to get like a religious organization to sign off. Gonna make a new Pinocchio needle with the four nose. The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, like this is that's what we're in. And she corrected the tail spelling, but I mean we knew what you meant. That's what this is. That was predictive programming like a motherfucker, right? Because this ain't just Disney. Disney's a big company to be doing this, by the way. Its official agreement stipulated Walt Disney World will require all active employees whose duty include working on the site to be fully jabbed by October 22nd, 2021. No, the decision was made. Listen, man, we know what the COOF is. And like I said, you guys can look out for it. There's people questioning rather the increase of certain variants were caused by certain jabs. I don't know enough to know, but I know it's enough to question. And whatever. While THR does not specify this new sticker system will become mandatory, it's suggesting it will happen some point May October. And fair to be speculated, it'll probably be October 22nd. And remember, Walt Disney World, is that the one? Which one? I always get it. Walt Disney World is the one in Florida, right? So they wouldn't have to do this if they didn't want to, which again makes it even more evil. Brave New World is the end goal. 1984, Mad Max, whichever one happens. And sheesh, don't give them any ideas, Glenzer, as far as opening Planned Parenthood parks in their clinics or clinics in their parks. All Main Street Entertainment is predictive programming at this point. Yeah, it is. Man, the High Castle meets the Badlands. Handmaid's Tale of Prawn Prairie. Oh boy. Yeah, man. There's a lot of predictive programming. Hey, 24 hours you'll be able to go live. Cool. Congrats. And everyone sub to One Rough Girl if you haven't, by the way. She's going to be doing her first live stream sometime in fairly near future. So cool. Let me see. Disney. Oh no, yeah. Unlike Disney, Netflix is reportedly looked to make some exceptions They apply to series and films that are already in production before the jab is implemented. Deadline also reported Netflix was further seeking to expand the jab requirement but beyond Zone A. So they're trying to jab more employees. And they're showing that shitty what the fuck is Cowboy Bebop destruction that I ain't gonna watch. So what do you guys make of Disney implementing a sticker system? What do you think we make, man? This is evil as fuck. And this is gonna be normal. This is gonna be normal. Yeah, one rough girl, you are mine. I think you can drop your own link. And Hellfish Chozo. Appreciate you being here. And I don't know if you're a mod too, but you can drop your own link for your Indiegogo, which escapes me at the moment. And I know it's the clown. I got the image, but I can't think of the name offhand. Yeah. Drop your links. Promote yourselves. There's a few people in the chat. Everyone plug yourself. Everyone join everyone. We'll keep what they say, we grow together. Yeah. Unrough girl. There we go. Goofanoid. There we go. Fish Chozo, thank you. Yeah, if we can get Goofanoid's link in there as well. Because hey, we see what the mainstream's doing. These are the mainstream entertainment is predictively programming and implementing fucking Yahtzee protocol in regards to jab status. That's what mainstream is. Yeah, I don't see a problem. It's just a star in your sleeve. Just flair. And Sentinel loves plugging himself. Wait, never mind. There you go. Yeah, brightest day. Great up and coming channel. This it's beautiful. Sub to everyone. And like and share if you haven't. Like and share. But this has become standard, man. This is going to become standard in the workplace. They're going to try to disenfranchise people who don't want their jabs. I do mean that plural because if you think that the motherfuckers who are jabbed are done being jabbed according to the government, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. There's going to be a either bi-monthly or quarterly jab mandate in the not too near future, lest you be thrown in a FEMA camp for your insolence. That's where we're going, and only God knows what they're jabbing you with. And they're gonna keep jabbing you and jabbing you and jabbing you. And if you don't want to get this jab, to the camps with you. At best, that's the end goal. They're turning up the temperature on that fraud, but that's what they're going for. And that's why you'll need your chip to make sure your jab is there. Boost me, daddy. Need your booster shot. You gotta have your chip. Your booster shot's not up to date. You can't eat. Go to the FEMA camp. Just wondering how to avoid getting the jab and live my life on my terms. It's getting very hard, though. Absolutely. They're going to make it harder and harder and harder. There has to be an alternate economy that has to establish itself. We were talking that for entertainment. We still want it for entertainment. That's why I want to promote my man's doing Goofanoid and all the creative, the creative efforts outside of Hollywood. But that alternate economy is going to have to be for normalcy. I'm working remotely right now. Granted, I'm in a totally different state than my job. If they didn't want me to work remote and they forced me to come in the office and forced me to do that, I'm out of a job. And I'm sure a lot of other people are probably already past that. I know some people have got the jab for that reason. And I understand it. Not critical of anyone. And it sucks that it's unconstitutional and downright inhumane that people are being made to make that decision. Scarlet letter. This time A means anti-vax. Yeah, anti-vax is already part of the dictionary. Nope. Done, son. Yeah. Jabbing you with mutagen? Probably. I know because I don't know that the jab is the mark, but I know that's coming. And it's either the mark itself or a precursor, but there's some shit has 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 6 protons that may be in it, and it may go to the parts. It's supposed to go because the jab it goes through your reproductive system and through a lot of systems. The actual substance itself. That's why a lot of people have had reports with fertility issues. There's something very Rough Girl said used to make you sterile. It does go into those systems, whether you're male or female. All hell descends. Walton is live. Gotta go show support for the dirty tree fucker. Oh, jeez. All right, man. I'll see you later, Wookie. Appreciate you being here. Cold Air. Shout out to you guys promoting everyone. Wookie Supremacy. Check him out. Check his channel. I know he's leaving to go check out Walton. Check out Cold Air. And check out Weight Down, obviously. I think those jabs will make it sterile. Remember Bill Gates was saying he wanted to use. Yep, I do remember him saying that. And they're doing it. Are they already doing that? I thought they were talking about doing that. This is evil. And they did it so quickly, and there's no pushback because our media is state sponsor. We're in North Korea. We're in China, right? That's what's happening. We're just watching it happen. We're watching that transition happen. And yeah, Fireball Productions, please check it out. I know the Demon in Chief was talking about doing that. I didn't know if they officially did it. I know there's supposed to be rules and laws and procedures, but those don't matter anymore. This is a dictatorship. Over a course of 2 years with a fake jab, they created a dictatorship and an authoritarian one in the United States and all across the world. They installed the one world government had been here, but they installed it officially within 18, 20 months with a fake disease. It's not fake. I shouldn't say fake, but something that has a 98% survival rate, 99% survival rate. And they were able to destroy all of society and authoritarian move into every element to the extent that you can't even spend money without them knowing. You can't do anything without them knowing. And I've Matt told me about Utopia and how predictive of the programming was for that. Yeah, thank you for plugging Ogre Squasher 101. I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he still at least watches the playbacks. Utopia might be too real for me. And hello, is it you I'm looking for? No, I'm just joking. I can't see. Imagine meeting the right person, deciding to have a kid with them, not knowing they got the jab, and then 9 months later, sheesh. 9 months later, son or daughter is born 3 arms in a towel. Who knows, man? Yeah, it's not really a vax. It is gene therapy. It's experimental gene therapy, and it's probably something disturbing. And they're going to pump people filled with it. This is not the people who have gone through their jabs, who are in their moral superiority. They will be continuously boosted against this, and it's going to destroy the human condition. That was the whole point. Vertigo and messing with your equilibrium. Jab may make your kid into monsters. Who knows? Refer to myself as a pure blood instead of an anti-vaxxer. Support your local fellowship. Glenda says Wild and Fury will be taking a jab tonight. I like Fauci to get that type of jab. Yeah, he's a demon. He's a demon. Been doing it, just not telling us. There you go. Not Ascension, Sentinel. My knee bows for Christ and God, no others. And that's probably the best mentality to have. I believe in Christ. I believe in the Most High. I've said that many times on the channel. And to be fair, a lot of this stuff has already been prophesied. It literally says in regards to the mark, you will not be able, and I always screw up the scripture because my brain's mush. You won't be able to buy and sell pure seed. Brie Larson. I think we took a turn for the worst way down. This is not it's not Jet Stream. Comics Division, okay. Yeah, this is a little bit better. In Florida, they passed a law where an employer asks you to be jabbed, $5,000 fine. Really? Well, we'll see what happens with this Walt Disney World thing. They're not, we'll see. They want every employee jabbed. I doubt that fine is going to be enforced. Don't be a pussy. Go watch it. It's, you know what, man? there's so many hours in the day, and I don't know how to do most of the stuff I'm supposed to watch. If something doesn't appeal, it's like, man, every extra cash I heard, um, nah, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want my seed to be out here and some lesbians. You know what I mean? Or anyone, or any or couple, or any, like, my seed is just out there, out in the wilderness. Even if it's a, whatever type of couple, or it wasn't specifically lesbians. I ain't trying to be offensive, but I just assume there's a group that, that goes for these banks the most. But even, couple who can't conceive or whatever, and little vigilante is just in some other area, little vigilantes all across the world. That makes me uncomfortable. I couldn't do that. Blink 169 on 4. If she eats ass from the back, that is technically anti-vax. Whoa. That was more than I could have used. Yeah, I know you guys didn't see that, but I saw that's in the Twitch chat. Shout out to Twitch. What else is in the Twitch? You anti bad, y'all anti bitches. Y'all really y'all anti bitches. Fuck out of here. I don't know what Project Dreaming X is on. I don't know what the Twitch chat is on. You got a yes, sir? I'm not sure if we're getting trolled. Are we getting trolled on Twitch? Sure. What's going on? Shouldn't need a booster if that's how it works. There you go, Blake 160 on our front. Do they have any Disney World in Orlando? Could be asking themselves for a major class action. That's what I was thinking. If you combine that law with the article. I'm sorry, the Twitch chat. I'm being trolled on Twitch. You guys can't see it, but they're great. Oh boy. Look at this. Look at what they're saying. That's only a couple people. That's awesome. But yeah. I'm sorry. I was so easily distracted. That's what happens when you have a host with no attention span. But let's go back to Code Era, saying in Florida they passed a law where any employer to ask if you're jabbed, $5,000 fine. Yet Walt Disney World is saying they're requiring everyone to be fully jabbed by October 22nd. So we'll see what happens there. I ain't a lawyer. And Brie Larson never dresses up for Halloween. Maybe she doesn't. Oh yeah, I don't want my progeny to be raised by a trans couple who chops their stuff off at 3 because they like the color pink. Yeah, that too. Don't I participate in a recent medical study, and I'm going to tell you about that. Just tell people the money isn't worth it. 10 grand, but not worth it. Oh boy. Those Twitch comments. No, they're only in Twitch. Were those Twitch comments? Yeah, they were Twitch comments. They're not in the chat. They're not in the YouTube chat. They're in the Twitch chat. Let them go. That was awesome. They're ridiculous, man. I don't know what's going on in their brains. But that was pretty ridiculous. They're Twitch guys, which I'm surprised anyone watches on Twitch. And I'm sorry to anyone in D Live. I used to monitor D Live. I haven't in a while. Every day is Halloween. Brie Larson's feet. Have you heard what I said about my cousin said about feet? And this is my cousin. He's from Chicago. This is his logic. He said girls with fucked up feet usually have stinky, you know what? I guess the logic being if you can't take care of your feet, how can you take care of your, you know what? So that's my thought about Brie Larson. I don't know that it's true. I don't know, but that's what I heard. I think the jabs mutating people, modern X-Men comics implementing by our heroes. Of course, yeah. I don't think people are going to get superpowers, unfortunately. That would make it more interesting. Love funny trolls. Twitch kids are indeed crazy. Gonna troll, just be funny. You know it's funny. It's just one rough girl. But yeah, they were in Twitch. So I couldn't ban them if I wanted to. Made me think of those medical studies in the movie Firestarter. So yeah, no, maybe one rough girl. She says no special powers. Maybe that's a cope. Who knows? The Eddie Murphy and Boomerang could not deal with her feet. Nah, I couldn't be. I feel bad for the feet fetishes. So real quick, I was looking at bounding, and this is just something that I think is in a positive. And a lot of these stories I'm not covering. The positive is most of these stories are about new things happening. And this is a positive. And Jesus Christ, sickness, leave me alone. it's positive. There is the one story about somebody being kicked out for not wearing a mask. I think that's stupid, but I also think if you bought a Comic-Con table, you know what it is. But most of this stuff, I just want to point this out because I've even given Bounty a lot of stuff. Obviously, the sticker story we just read, most of it's just about, there is some criticism of the coup. Most of it, hey, new webtoon. I already talked about this. New video game. Come on, what the hell is this? Jesus Christ, your ads. I can't even read your articles and ads. New RPG, new comics, the Alamo Draft House, re-showing the original Godzilla, new animation for Shenmue, Shenmue's anime. All of it, most of their stuff is not political today. And I gotta give them a pat on the back and a clap. It says YouTube bugging. It's only showing you one person watching. It shows me like 10 people watching. Take care, everyone. You're going, all right, gotta run. Catch you later, man. See you later, one wait down. See you later. And salute. And here's the article. Is that the article to the story? Yeah, get that ad block. You know why I used to have it, but Gary scared me off. He said that you can hack your shit through ad block. So that scared me off. Oh man. Good night, everyone. Wind tunnel tomorrow. Stay safe in the wind tunnel. So I just want to give even though the ad block is annoying as shit, I need ad block. I don't know what these stories are. Oh, dumb TGI Fridays. Whatever. I want to give Bounding a bit of a pat. They can be ultra right wing. They're not really alt right, but they're just talking about new media, and that's a better place to be. So here's a not good place to be. And this is actually coming off one of Bounding articles, but I went to the Daily Beast. Do you guys know who Sharon Waxman is? I don't either. You guys know what the Rap is? Barely do. The Rap is I say barely, I'm joking. They're a fairly significant, or have been a fairly significant media source in entertainment media. Interesting thing about Sharon Waxman, this is not in the article, but she apparently had a Harvey Weinstein story in 2004. Was it Weinstein or Epstein? One of those motherfuckers. I think it was Weinstein. I'm 90% Weinstein because she's a Hollywood reporter. No pun intended to that actual organization. And any of it, she worked for the New York Times. It was 2004. Had the story. It got shut down for political and power reasons. Whatever story she had on it. It was Weinstein. Now I think about it, I think some Hollywood actors were involved in shutting it down. In any of it, she formed the Rap in 2009, her own media organization. As we'll see, she ran it with an iron fist. I'm going to skim through this article because it's massive. But she ran her own organization in 2009 and never covered it, even when she had the opportunity to. So that's just one thing to toss out about her. Geez, to show you, if you want to listen to the article, 22 minutes. We don't got 22 minutes to read through this. The article. We probably will be on a little bit longer. Call your first album Rapture. Nah, I'm not gonna call it that. I got a few ideas. If I even make, who knows if it ever gets made? Because I've had back issues, and that's been back issues, and some stuff isn't working. Some of the physical stuff. I got tons of plugins. I don't really need it. But that's been kind of holding up me actually doing music, so that sucks. Anyways, let me actually, because basically there's a lot of her employees complaining about their treatment under Sharon Waxman. Now, it should be noted, you have a different media organization coming at the head of another media organization. For what it's worth, it is a little bit of the media eating itself as far as news is concerned. But I guess I'll read some of the intro. It says it's like a scene from a bad Hollywood movie. An employee takes a few hours off of work to bring his fiancée to the oncologist for a cancer checkup, only to have the tyrannical boss call and curse him out for slacking off. Only according to one former employee of the entertainment media news site The Wrap, it really happened. What are you thinking, founder and CEO Sharon Waxman bellowed at the employee in the fall of 2020, he recalled. Does she not have a mother or a brother or a family member that can do that shit for her? This is apparently what Sharon Waxman said to this employee. The ex-staffer said quit on the spot after that last straw. Is one of 20 current and former rap staffers who spoke up to the Daily Beast about a toxic environment of culture and fear at the highly influential outlet. So this is actually a hit piece on a whammon boss. They say they want whammon bosses, right? They scream. This is the rap is as lefty as it comes. And they say they want whammon bosses, and when they actually get it, they can't handle the shit. Isn't that funny? Not funny because this person's a damn demon. To yell at somebody for taking their fiance to an oncologist is pretty rough. Really rough. So, Waxman, who's a former correspondent for the New York Times, Pulitzer Prize nominee, that means nothing in this day and age, feared Hollywood Reporter before starting to rap in 2009, has driven out one staffer after another, left current employees looking for their exits. A majority of employees who spoke with Daily Beast had left the company in the past 2 years. So let's a lot of it's just emotional shit. Let's actually get down to nitty gritty of some of the stuff she's been accused of. These are accusations. And I guess she gave everyone a day off when these accusations started off and starts to try to do some damage control. Let's see. Journalism Awards, Tenacity. I love, speaking of the female thing, there was an employee who said the fact that she owns this company is the only female owner of a trade publication in Hollywood is hella impressive. So despite being a abused or whatever, they got a strong woman. So whatever. But she runs it with an iron fist. They were terrified to make a mistake because you get publicly shamed or in private. Well, that's a lot of jobs, which sucks. They called it a gross abuse of power. It was toxic. Never thought it would be yelled at in such a way, and watching her yell and shred other people was unsettling. They called it Jekyll and Hyde. I wanted to get there's a segment. Like I said, this is a long article of complaints, but there is a segment when they get into more of the meat. She dead named transgender people. That's the how dare you do that? But there was something, like I said, the real disturbing story about her scolding a staff for taking his fiance to an oncologist. After working the entire weekend on the project, this now former employee said Waxman cursed at him over the phone to taking a few hours off to tend to his future wife. This is not Sharon's recollection of the incident, according to a spokesperson for the rap. You'll see that comment on a few of these incidents. In another incident recalled by 4 sources, Waxman allegedly chastised a reporter who was concerned for her father's safety during a 2015 mass shooting in San Bernardino. The reporter's father was a member of a golf course near the attack. Sharon stormed out of her office and told her in front of the whole newsroom, highly unlikely your dad had golf in the middle of the workday. Oh, geez. And we need to get the story out. Then you can call him. And of course, that's not her recollection of the incident. Another one said in 2015 that her kid dislocated his elbow. She hurried over to the emergency room during the workday. A lot of these, I think, are women, by the way. Just another note. Strong women supporting women, and this is what happens. Following the incident, the woman returned the woman worked from home, for 2 days and was threatened her job if she did not return to the office immediately. Sharon denies this, according to the spokesperson from the rap. So there you go. The woman quit several weeks later. She told me she didn't believe anyone was working at home was actually working, and she should have a child care for her child. Holy shit! So a bunch of people saw this exchange. She says, I don't say this lightly. Sharon is one of the worst or the most awful people I've ever known in my life. This is what one staffer said. I had a high turnover. They had a team of low-pay freelancers called the Squad. I think there's something about George Floyd. I think she greenlit. This thing is, here it is. She greenlit why Darnella Frazier is the most influential filmmaker of the century. This is the lady who shot the infamous George Floyd video. So she has a lot of just weird shit and being mean to the women she works for, and really kind of shitty. Why am I covering it? I'm sure as you're asking, like, who the fuck cares about the rap? Well, these are one of this. Like I said, it goes on forever. The rap, along with the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, these are the people that make up the mainstream entertainment media. I could just probably get out the article. The mainstream entertainment, yeah. Sharon does ride with Karen, and yeah, Sean Connery does believes in smacking a chick. Waxman with a man, it would be a lot more media coverage. Absolutely, absolutely. Yep, stunning and brave, and a lot of people who were victimized were women. A lot of them were women. So, but that doesn't matter. That's an interesting take. The fact that what Glenn said, if Waxman was a man, there would be a lot more media coverage. I'm covering because she is shitty treatment of humans, and that's unfucking necessary in this day and age. And I'm covering it because these are the people who have established morality for people. You know what I mean? This is normal amongst heads of media organizations that they're shitty humans. Whether you're talking about online publication like the Rap, whether you're talking about NBC, whether you're talking about ABC, you hear all these crazy allegations. If it's a man, it's usually attached to something sexual. If it's a woman, it's attached to this type of shit. It's not really a gender specific thing. It's funny that I definitely think gender has a lot to do with this reporting, or the lack of it, or the lack of the outrage. And you see there was a lot of spin even from the Rap. You know, a spokesperson is speaking on each comment. You know, they add that little comment, or she doesn't remember it this way, or she doesn't think that happened, whatever. But these are the people that called us every name outside of a child of God for not liking, you know, whatever shill shit they were trying to push down our throats. These are the people, these really disgusting fucking human beings, these really shitty human beings. And hell, Courtney, and Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. And hope everyone is having a good weekend. Absolutely. I'm having a good weekend. But Vidge, I thought if women ruled the world, there'd be no wars and milk and honey would flow from everywhere you look. I don't believe that's the case. I know they believe that's the case. But even when they get that, they see that isn't the case. Like Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, or whatever that demon is in Seattle. They're not setting the world on fire. We got the, you know, horror in chief and Kumala, uh, or come all over, whatever you want to call her. So we know that, you know, they're just as shitty as the men in their own way. So we know that that's not the case. Let me just get, but yeah, this demon, this is the person. This is just one of the many demons that when you didn't agree with them, you were racist, you were alt-right, you were whatever. These are the people that can't even allow a fucking employee to take their fiance for cancer treatment. The people that can't even allow their employee to check on their parents. The people that scream at and abuse their staff, underpay them intentionally, and put them under contract. I didn't get into it. There's a part about this article where these people are making less than 30K, but then they have contracts that prevent them from going elsewhere. And then they say, oh, most of the people didn't get journalist jobs after. Well, they couldn't. You contractually stopped them from getting journalist jobs and from trying to better themselves. These are the people that told you were shitty because you cared about Luke Skywalker or Ghostbusters or Terminator. These are the people, these demons. And this is just the lady at the Rap. Who knows what they're doing at the Hollywood Reporter or Variety or any other of these shill mags? Who knows? Who knows? All right, we've gone an hour and a half through those. Quite a few tabs left. Aren't there many women CEOs of charge charge in the military industrial complex? Probably. There's a lot of women management in all corporations. There's a lot of women CEOs. That's the new edict. Make women run everything because we want that milk and honey world that you were talking about. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get. So speaking, you know, we have our Illuminati references. I say Illuminati, but it's a bunch of different organizations together. So we're gonna. I was trying to establish the meme of the day. We actually have a couple memes of the day. One is unsettling, and yes, hell, Wolverine Snicket, who's looking like Wolverine in his avatar. Yes, there is in the military-industrial complex. He looks like he knows. I'm just judging by the avatar. He looks like a man that knows. I trust him. So apparently, yeah, there are some women in charge of the military-industrial complex and in charge of our athletes, apparently. So I don't know if you guys ever seen this. I've seen this entire interview and this entire video. It's a clip from a video, and I'll show you guys which check it out because I know it's a lot of people who are interested, especially in this day and age when they're making their hand shown, and a lot of the evil motherfuckers behind the curtain of a lot of what we see. So this is just a couple of clips for that. Kind of a funny meme that I found that I like, and then we'll get to a positive news story, and then we'll wrap up the show. So here we hopefully you should be able to hear this, but let me know if you're not, because you know how many sound snafus we have here at this channel. Sorry. Jesus, will you play?
So man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, "See, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine." She said, "You're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch."
So that's a smaller...
This is Tom Brady.
Okay. That is a smaller clip from an interview where Tom Brady admits his wife is a witch. And he actually goes into detail about the sort of witchcraft that she does. Now, this is a clip up of a TikTok, but this person, he's a guy who won the X Factor. He does this 5-hour exposure video on a lot of dark stuff behind Hollywood and celebrity and all that sort of thing. And he is still up on YouTube. I'll show you that. And the sound is good. Cool. So I'm just trying to provide context. So yeah, if you watch that full clip, you can look that up. Tom Brady talking about his witch wife, Gisele Bündchen, who does not have hips. Everyone wants to tell you she's attractive. It's weird how she doesn't have hips. I'm not transvestigating, just stating. So he's talking about how, she's doing different little, I don't know what you want to call, like sigils and all sorts of witchcraft shit. And I'm not, there's some witches in the community. I'm just calling it how I see it. There's a lot of witchcraft in the symbolism. Let me play the rest of the videos because I'm talking too much. But I just want to provide context. In fact, I'll just replay it since the context has been provided.
Man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, "See, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine." She said, "You're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch."
Well, this is Tom Brady. And this is his wife. Both initiated into the secret society. Of course they are. Wait, she's not displaying the one-eye symbol of the Freemasons, is she? That's just art, isn't it? Well,
it's not just Freemasons. They get it from other places.
She's a witch.
They get it
and her husband just told you she was.
A Kemet, to be specific. All right. So that's just that. And again, I always mess up my man's name. Atlian Childs. This is the video you want to check out. It's 5 hours long. You can watch it in breaks for a while it's here. You do want to check this out if you're interested in that sort of thing. Has lots of that sort of stuff. And if that's not your thing, I get it. And that's not everyone's thing. And yeah, witches do be crazy. Yeah, legit witch. Cold era, legit witch. And this has nothing to do with it. We're in the levity section, the end of the show. So I've come across this Sigma grind set meme. I don't know how. I don't know why the algorithm has done this. There's tons of these memes. They're not just Top Gear related. They're just everywhere. And which the whole point is like to suggest something horrible and show that that's the grind set. The Sigmas don't care about anything. So that's the nature of this meme. Hopefully you guys laugh at it. If not, sorry. So here we go. I don't know if I'll get claimed, but let's go. I hope there's no kids growing up who take these things seriously. It's the whole meme. And so I think Cinch and Dildo's aware of the meme. I love this meme. It's been my thing. There's a whole playlist. That's the meme of the day. The other thing was just, darkness of the day, I guess. That's the meme of the day. The Sigma grind set meme. Let's go out there, disfigure women and children. No, that's a joke. Please don't. That's the whole point. The shockingness. It's a joke. All right, let's get something positive. Unlike I don't know if you see Waxman, Sharon Waxman. See, that's the problem. You end up forgetting these demons' names. Unlike her, we want to show some honor and respect to somebody who's been struggling with illness. This Christmas came early for a father who was recently diagnosed with an incurable brain tumor. This is our positive story today. We're ending on this. Hunters gathered to give a terminally ill father early Christmas surprise. More than 200 people showed up to the home of Matthew Sandbrook in Warden, Worcester. Sorry to my English chaps if I mispronounced that name. The father of three was expecting a small gathering to celebrate Christmas with loved ones, but friends arranged carol singing, decorations, and even a snow machine. Sandbrook's cousin Nikki said she wanted to make his last Christmas a good one. It all happened very quickly. His time's been cut short, and his very close family decided to move Christmas Day to today so he could celebrate it with his close loved ones, his boys, and his partner. Attendees sang Benny's King, Stand By Me, as the family came out the house before singing the popular Christmas tunes. Particularly moving moment came when those gathered pointed their cell phone lights to the sky and sang Snow Patrol's Run. We really brought Christmas spirit to Warden. We really did it. Nikki told Worcester News. I can't believe it. All that hard work, sleepless nights, text messages to my best friend Sam asking, "Can we do this?" has been worth it. Thank you to everyone. It meant the world to them. Another neighbor said it was so overwhelming to see the community come together. So this is really, really cool. This guy apparently has a brain tumor. It's unfortunately incurable. And just to make sure he enjoyed Christmas, they moved it up. And a lot of people came out to celebrate with them. Like over 200 people showed up. They had a big event about it. This is really cool, man. This is why I do these positive stories, because it's very easy to get caught up in the shittiness of humans, man. Especially now in this era, with this crazy ass world and this crazy divisive world, really. They're making us wear flair for what we do with our bodies now. So that's what they're standardizing. And you have to remember that human beings do indeed care about each other. I'm not even a Christmas guy, right? But just to see that so many people will come up and go out of their way just to make sure a guy has comfort in his last days, it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see. So I wanted to end on that. Let's see what else you guys have to say in the chat, and then we will go home on that. And I saw that you mentioned this, I think, in the chat to the MF, but RZA was on Lex Freeman's podcast, and I probably will check that out. I like RZA. I know that I have not seen any of the whatever they're doing, the documentary they're doing on the Wu-Tang Clan. I tend to stay away from the rap documentaries. I mean, the NWA one was cool, but for the most part, they're shitty. They're really shitty and overdone. And Noise says Ascension Dildo. And I hope this episode was Noise. I know we did something a little different. Talked about boxing. Hopefully it wasn't over everyone's heads. But I wanted to talk about it because I want to watch the fight. Hopefully I'm able to watch the fight. I got Wookie tossed something in my chat about the one of the street beefs, I think. Or maybe it was a funny fight. We'll see. But thank you, anyone who checked out. Yeah, for the most part, they suck. Most part of the time suck. People suck, but people are good. People care about each other, and it has to be pushed out there. So bye, everybody. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share, subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. Everyone have a wonderful Saturday evening. I may talk to you guys later on late Saturday night, but if I don't because of the fight, please have a good night. I will talk to you later. Peace.